Kapa Hawaiian FM at 100.3, 99.1, and online at kaparadio.com. As promised, we're so proud every time we get to talk to this amazing songwriter and human being, because we hold the title of being able to say we played her first before anybody. We played Lily Ko'i. God, is it over 20 years already?
No.
Yeah, gotta be,
only
right?
15 years.
Oh, 15 years. Okay, seems longer than that. But here she is, one of Hawaii's most prolific songwriters, ladies and gentlemen, Paula Fuga.
Aloha, Jazz. Thank you so much. Yes, Kapa has been a huge and tremendous supporter of my music since the beginning. So mahalo nui for that, for sure. And I'm so stoked to be here with you, talking about my new album.
Yeah, this is
finally
long awaited. You've been like, popping up special guests here and there, doing some collabs, but this is like the first full Paula project in a while. What finally, got things together? Were you in a good place to like sit down and write, or
Actually, a lot of these songs have been written for a long time. If yeah, but I think everything happens in its own perfect timing. It was a challenge. I started recording my album about 5 years ago, and then I got a little bit discouraged. So I kind of was like, I didn't want to work on my album, and I was kind of dreading it. And I was like, it just kind of became like a thing that I was ignoring. And then Mike Love hit me up one day and he's like, "Hey, Tita, we should just book the studio and we'll just start recording your album. We'll like find times where all the musicians can make it." And then we sort of just did that. We did that. We started recording in 2017 and like fully. And it was great. Mike Love ended up being the main producer, and he's of course my music director. He knows my music inside and out better than anyone, and he helped me write the music to a lot of the songs already. So it was a huge relief. And then to book all the musicians and get them in the studio, it was incredibly magical. And of course we're doing it all on our own, so like I'm paying for it as everything happens. I pay for this and that, and then it takes time to edit it because we're like on a smaller budget because it was an independent initiative. Mike Love edited everything, and he's really busy traveling and touring, so he'd take all the music with him and he'd edit it on the road, listening to all the musical parts and putting all of it together, all the good takes, all the good parts from every take, from each different instrument, from every voice that you hear. Mike Love listened through every single thing and put it together like that. You know what I mean?
He's amazing to watch him, because he's talented with his feet just as much as he is with his hands, with his looper abilities and everything.
That's what she said.
Huh?
Nah, just joking.
You guys don't even know. We're talking before we started recording. Like, you could sit down and just listen to Paula and just spit out laughing from some of the stuff that she says. Amazing. Now, going into the studio with somebody like Mike Love, and because you're basically going in there kind of raw, right? Not sure what you're going to do yet. From the moment you sit down, the lights go on in the studio. How do you start?
Well, first, I feed my musicians. As soon as they get there, there's a full spread of fresh fruit, drinks, water, any kind of refreshment you could ever want. I have it right there for you, because when my musicians come in, I need them to eat something, because I cannot have them thinking about food while I need them to be focusing on the music. So number one, I feed my musicians. I feed all my people.
That's awesome.
If you come to a rehearsal, all my gigs, I make sure that my musicians are well and fed, and they will
That's
tell you this
awesome.
about me
That is
100%.
awesome.
And then we wait for everybody, because people trickle in, like not everyone's there on time, and then whoever gets there on the recording, the big session days, all the musicians go into the studio one by one, and they get their gear set up. The drummer tunes the drum kit, whatever, like the keyboard setting up, like all those things. We kind of take it leisurely. I'm not like in a rush. I'm not in a rush person. I'm
Are
not
you
like,
are you
okay, I'm on the clock, everybody get in, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, are
no,
you
that's not.
conducting everything too, or are you letting everybody just kind of set up, get their vibe going while you sit and write, or
No, the songs have already been written,
mm-mm.
and we're just getting in the studio. What happens is I have meetings with, like, I'll meet with Brad first. I'll show him my songs. He'll help me tighten them up before I take it to Mike Love. And then we have Mike Love. We have a session with me, Brad, and Mike Love. And then I play the songs for Mike, and then Brad and Mike kind of like go over it a little bit, like come up with different parts that they think would be cool or whatever. And so they have an idea of what we're gonna do. We always have an idea of what songs we're gonna do, because there's differences between like a keyboardist. Like, for instance, my cousin Keith, who plays keys for Mike Love, is really good at reggae. But my boy Ethan, who's my keyboardist in my band, he's amazing at like R&B and blues and soul. So like, and not as good as Keith is at reggae, those technical things. So like, if it's a reggae session, then we have a different keyboardist come in, and then we know what songs we're gonna tackle for the day and stuff like that.
Make
So then
him work
after they
that
get,
day while he's there.
yeah. So after everybody's all set up and good to go, then we'll say, okay, ready? Everybody ready up. So we'll go in. Mike will tell everybody what to play, and how to play it. And then we'll we'll rehearse it a little bit. And then we'll give it a few passes. And it's all live. Everybody's live at the same time.
Wow.
And that's important to me, because I'm a real feelings person. I'm not a perfectionist at all. I like the feeling of it. And I know that, like, if the music is pre-recorded and then I start singing, every single time I sing, it'll have less magic and less magic, because I'm not into it as much. You know what I mean? After 3 takes of singing the same song over and over again. Like, if I'm by myself, just trying to capture the vocals. But I feel like it's so helpful when I'm singing, because then they feel my energy and they emote with me. You know what I mean? Because I'm an emotional person. So they emote too. And that's really important, that I capture the emotion from the musicians, that soul that comes out of them, you know what I mean? Right. And that's captured in the music when you hear it. Those are live drums, that's live horns, those are live strings, and everybody
nice and organic.
Yeah, it's organic. Everybody contributes their mana to this project, and I value that.
Speaking of organic, your circle of musicians are organic, as I guess you'd say. Mike is that way, and then some of the bigger names that you have, like Jack Johnson, Ben Harper, who are on the single "If Ever" that we just started playing. We just debuted yesterday, as a matter of fact. These are guys known for very organic production, very organic music, and they're songwriters. How did you connect with these guys?
Magic.
That's what she said.
Oh, good one. Yeah, so I've been friends with Jack for a while now. He sort of took me under his wings before I even had an album out in 2006. He and I've traveled all over the world with him making music. And so what happened was, he heard that I was done with my album, and he said, "Hey, let me hear some mixes." And I was like, "Okay." So I sent him some, and he's like, "Send me more." I'm like, "Do you want to hear the whole album? It's unmixed, but you can hear it." He's like, "Yeah, totally." And then he's like, "Hey, how are you releasing this?" I'm like, Jack, I have no idea. I'm taking it one step at a time. And so right now we're on mixing. So, like that's all I can think about right now. And it was during the pandemic last year, probably around this time. And then he hit me back later, and he asked to sign me to his label. And I was like, yes, of
Wow.
course. Yeah. And because he signed me to his label and we're constant collaborators in music, it was only natural for him to jump on my album. And so when we got together, because he took a look at the songs that were on my album and nothing quite fit right. He wanted to do Rain on Sunday, but I just really wanted to keep that song Just Me and a Ukulele, because so many people have asked me to record songs in that way, and I have never had the opportunity. So excuse me. So today, I mean, I'm so happy to have that song Rain on Sunday, Just Me and a Uke. And when I got together with Jack, we sort of brainstormed a bit and shared songs that we had been working on but never finished yet, just to kind of see what song we would want to do together. And he shared with me an idea of a melody and some lyrics, if ever. And it was about his father. And the crazy thing is, I was Jack's friend. I was around when his father passed away, and it was such a heartbreaking thing, to watch a friend go through something like that. And then he recorded an album for his dad, and I was in the studio when he was singing this song about his dad, and I was just like, Jack, just let it go, just sing, like wail. And he did. He like let it out, and it was such a
Wow.
beautiful thing. And I was there for that, and he captured that moment. And I know that every time he sings that song, he remembers that feeling, you know, in the studio. He goes back to that emotion. And the last time we sang that song at Waikiki Shell, by the end of the song, he was in tears,
Wow.
and that was captured in a video. And I never told anybody this actually, but so when Jack told me about the song and that it was about his father who had passed, I just felt so emotionally connected, especially since I had lost my father in 2019.
Mm.
And now I can relate to that feeling of loss that Jack had. And now it's my turn to sort of mourn for my father in a song.
Yeah.
And so I could totally relate to Jack in that way. And then, yeah, after sharing our experiences with each other of like memories that I had growing up with my dad, like, because I wasn't raised with him. He kind of bounced by the time I was like 5 or 6 years old. And so I had those young, very early adolescent memories of him in my life. And, you know, it was just a cool moment where we like shared some tears, shared some stories, and the song sort of wrote itself after that.
Wow. You know that when I've been to songwriting conferences that they have here on the island, and you're featured a lot at the one out in Waikoloa that they have. They used to be the Kauai one, I think, the Songwriters
Yeah.
Festival. Um, you are included with a lot of mainland writers in this. Um,
Really?
yeah, I mean, like whenever there's like these guys from the mainland, and they say, and then from local, it's Paula Funga.
Yeah.
I think what's awesome about you is you're in that kind of category with guys like John Cruz, um, artists who are from Hawaii, are Hawaii, but don't necessarily have an island sound. You can hear that there's island in you in the music, but it's not an island sound. And it's hard for a lot of artists to get radio play when they don't have the island sound. And you've been able to um, get radio play, become very successful without being that island sound and being just a very great songwriter. And I think a lot of that has to do with exactly what, as you're crying about this melody that you're talking about. And I think that that comes out in all the songs you sing. And that's why it doesn't matter what genre you do, reggae, just you and a you, all comes out fire and just,
Mahalo nui for recognizing that, Jazz. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Um, Thank you. What a huge compliment.
because some guys can write and just write. Oh, I need to put something together. I love you, da 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 da. But you come up with. So my favorite song of yours is probably Sweet Reverie. I don't even know what a reverie is.
Oh, it's a dream.
Is it a dream? I hear
Yeah.
that and it's like that takes me to so many different genres in one time. From like I'm listening to a Phoebe Snow song to maybe I'm listening to a Whitney song to maybe listening to a Melvin lead song. It kind of captures
Wow.
like everything a little bit.
So cool.
What's your favorite song to perform?
My favorite song to perform is Hokulea, Star of
Is
God.
it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why?
Yeah.
Just
I
the mana
think
behind the song,
because
or
I think it's because I come from the stars, so singing about the stars and that just the way that the melody is, the walk down with the chords, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like a beautiful strumming chord. It makes me feel like I'm sailing on the ocean, and
Mm-mm.
I love that feeling, like floating on the sea, underneath the stars. Gosh, it's so romantic. And I think that I just love it. Uncle Boogie Kalama wrote that song, and he wrote like a timeless masterpiece, in my opinion, because I don't know, the song is so simple and it just has that feeling of that longing for something you love, like missing someone. I don't know. I just love the emotion in the song. And, you know, then when you imagine Hokulea sailing on the sea, this teeny tiny va'a in this vast ocean, it's just such a miracle that
Right.
they can get from, Hawaii to all over the whole world now.
Without the use of all the technology that everybody says we need.
Absolutely. And I just love that. I love what Hokulea represents for Hawaii and cultural knowledge. I just love it. I love everything about it. That's my favorite song to perform live.
And that's on this album as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't listen to the whole album yet. I saw that there's a collab with Natural Vibes. I'm kind of excited to hear what's cooking with that one.
Yeah, you got to check it out. I wrote that song. It's called Love, Give It Freely. And I wrote that song freestyle at Keawa Ula, which is known famously as Yokohama's on the west side of Oahu. And it was a beautiful moonlit night. The moon was about to set. Like it was kind of like one shaka from the ocean.
Yeah,
If you know, like one or two shakas. And then what is that? Yeah. I just had this. It was during a time where there were a lot of killings, a lot of police brutality in the world, and there were mass shootings at the time, and I was just like, gosh, what can I do to help? How can I make this world a better place? Like what can I do within my capabilities to like what's the answer, what's the solution? That's how my mind works.
Mm.
How can I help? And I realized that the thing that we needed most in the world is love, love for each other, love for each other as human beings, like that we're all people and we have all the same needs, and wants and desires. We all want to be safe. We all want to have a home. We all want to be loved. We we all need food, you know, like
Yeah.
all these basic needs, you know, and if we could just realize that in each other and honor that and respect that we're all the same,
Mm.
then you know what a wonderful place it would be. And so when I was um, on the beach, I just got these. I was messing with my ukulele and I got a few chords. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then I had this. I had the melody in my head. Love, love, love. Just can't get enough love, love, love. You got to give it freely. And it's my islandy. It's the most island music song on my album,
Mm.
and it was just so. And it came out like that, and I didn't plan it that way. And even though that's not really my typical style,
Mm.
I still put it on my album because of the message that it has. And then I wrote a bridge, and while I was writing the bridge, it sounded exactly like Penny Dean's voice. And I'm good friends with Wayne Enos
Yeah, yeah,
and Penny too, but I'm closer to Wayne. So I wanted it to be natural vibes and not just Penny Dean, you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
Wayne came and he sang, and Shane sang. They all sang harmony with Penny for that song. But it's beautiful. And if you listen to Penny's verse, just know I wrote it exactly that way, thinking of him and his
Wow,
voice.
that is awesome.
So, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just go with it because that's where it came from. So I asked him to be on it, and yeah, I love it. And I hope that the radio stations in Hawaii pick it up because it's such a powerful song for kids to grow up singing to. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Love, 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 just can't get enough. Love, 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 you got to give it freely, you know?
Yeah. Now, real quick, before we tell everybody where to get the project, you're gonna be in town. I heard you're gonna be at Uncle Robert's.
It's going to be at Uncle Robert's next Friday, July 16th. Doors open at 7 and the show ends at 10. So get your guys tickets. I'm so excited to be there. Haven't been to Hawaii Island since Merry Monarch 2019, I think.
Wow, wow,
Pretty
wow.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And where can everybody get the new album?
Well, you can come to Uncle Robert's and get it from there.
There you go.
And also, you can order it from me. If you order it online from my website, paulafugahawaii.com, I will personally autograph it for you.
Awesome.
So if you want to, you know, hit me up on there. I'll send you your CD. You have my autograph to keep forever and ever. Also, you can check out my website for uh, other show dates or information where I'll be performing. Um, and you can check out my store, you can check out my lyrics, links to my friends who support me and have been a part of my project, and all of that good stuff.
Hey, Paula, was it 15 years ago you said, right? You
Yeah.
you have not changed a bit. You are still the wonderful, humble human being from 15 years ago.
Aw,
Just
thanks,
awesome.
Jazz.
Just awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
talking story with us. And if I could stay up late enough, I'll see you at Uncle Robert's.
Yeah. Okay, shoots. Have a good one. Thank
Mahalo.
you. Mahalo nui. Aloha.